April 30th, 2015 from AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. It was Game 6 from the 2015 NBA Playoff Round 1 matchup between the Los Angeles Clippers and the San Antonio Spurs. And the Spurs had a chance to end this series on their home court, but the Clippers had other ideas as they were looking to force a Game 7 back in LA at the Staples Center. And in the first quarter, the Clippers took control. They were in the lead. But in the closing moments of the first, Kawhi Leonard would get fouled. He hit both free throws. And then Patty Mills would end up going to the foul line with just 3 seconds left and hit both shots to tie this game up at 26 apiece after 1 quarter of play. Then in the second quarter, it was back and forth, but Marco Belinelli just draining the three-pointers. Really, overall, the Spurs were just nailing it from downtown, but Marco Belinelli hits 4 three-pointers in a row, just going off. He hit 7 in the game, 4 of them in this second quarter. But with less than 2 minutes left, it's Matt Barnes who hits a three-pointer to tie this game up at 47. Kawhi Leonard responds with a jumper, then Crawford on the other end with a jumper, and then Leonard with another one. So Kawhi Leonard puts him up, the Spurs, 51-49, but then Chris Paul hits 2 free throws, and we're tied at 51 going to halftime. So very exciting game, back and forth, very closely matched. Then in the third quarter, the Clippers would jump out to the lead. But then, with just over a minute left in the third, Patty Mills hits a three-pointer to tie the game up at 70. It was the three-point shooting of the Spurs that kept them in this game. But Chris Paul responded with the jumper to put the Clippers back in the lead. Kawhi Leonard would go to the free throw line and hit both free throws to tie it back at 72, but then Chris Paul on the other end hits another jumper, and then Glen Davis with a dunk to score the quarter's final points, and it was 76-72 as the Clippers were up by 4 heading into the fourth. So in the fourth quarter, the Clippers would end up pushing their lead as they got some good three-point shooting from Matt Barnes and J.J. Redick. But then, with just over a minute left to play, a 6-point lead for the Clippers, and Marco Belinelli hits his 6th three-pointer of the game to make it a 3-point game. Chris Paul comes back on the other end with 2 points, but then Belinelli drills another three-pointer, and it's a 2-point game at 98-96 with just 14 seconds left to play. Then coming out of the timeout, Belinelli fouls Crawford. Crawford goes to the line, up by 2, and this was a huge moment, and he hits both free throws, coming up very clutch for the Clippers to put it to a 4-point lead at 196. That way a three-pointer would not tie it, so they would need 2 scores. So a timeout for the Spurs. They come out of the timeout, and there's a goaltending call on Boris Diaw. So Diaw gets the goaltending call, and then he ends up fouling Blake Griffin. So now Griffin goes to the line. He had some troubles in the fourth quarter of Game 5, shooting just 1 for 9. But here in the closing moment, with just a second on the clock, he hits both free throws. He makes it a 6-point lead. First a 5-point, then a 6-point lead at 102-96. And this game is over. As time will come to a close, there wasn't any time to even score any more points, and they were up by 6. So the Clippers, they win Game 6. They tie the series up at 3 games apiece. They force Game 7 back in LA. And in this game, Blake Griffin comes up big with a double-double. DeAndre Jordan had a double-double as well. As 4 of the 5 starters for the Clippers scored in double digits. Crawford also came off the bench for double digits as well. Blake Griffin, 26 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 4 blocks in this game. DeAndre Jordan, 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Chris Paul, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 15 assists, and 4 steal. So double-double for Chris Paul as 3 of the 5 starters for the Clippers had double-doubles in this game. J.J. Redick had 19 points, and Matt Barnes, 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals. So just 1 bucket and 3 boards shy of a double-double himself, and it would have been 4 of the starters. But he was the only starter who actually didn't score in double digits. That would have been all 5 in double digits, and 4 would have had double-doubles. Of course, Redick, no boards, no assists, or steals or blocks for that matter. But Jamal Crawford, 10 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist off the bench. And Glen Davis, he had just that one bucket, but it extended the lead to 4 at 76-72 at the end of the third quarter, and he also had 3 rebounds in the game. So he's actually been coming up big in the series in the moments when he gets an opportunity. For the San Antonio Spurs, their leading scorer was, of course, Marco Belinelli. He was 7 of 11 from downtown, just draining those three-pointers. He had 23 points, 21 of which came from three-point land. And the Spurs shot 42.9% from three-point land versus just 22.2% for the Clippers. But they did outshoot the Spurs 47.5 to 43.4 from the field. And they also shot 71% from the foul line, hitting 22 of 31 foul shots, as they almost doubled the production at the free throw line of the Spurs, who shot just 57.1% from the foul line, hitting only 12 of 21. But Belinelli has said he had the 23 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. And Boris Diaw had 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal off the bench. Tim Duncan and Kawhi Leonard were the only other 2 players for the Spurs to score in double digits. Tim Duncan had a double-double with 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Kawhi Leonard with 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. Tiago Splitter was just 1 point shy of a double-double with 9 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Tony Parker just 8 points, 4 rebounds. He had 7 assists in the game. But as I was saying with the numbers, it was close. Rebounds 44, 43, 26, 22 on assists. But the Clippers, they had more steals, forcing those turnovers 7-3, and more blocks 7-2. But it's really their shooting from the field. They got them this game, and their ability to get fouled and hit those shots from the foul line. They were having trouble hitting the foul shots throughout this series, but they improved their free throw shooting quite a bit. They must have got some extra practice, because they jumped it up almost 20%, as they were shooting around 50% from the free throw line, but they pump it up to 71 in this game, hitting 22. They said only 12 for the Spurs, and that's the thing, when they had all those three-pointers, but they couldn't get any shots from the free throw line. And in the closing, it was tied up in that one, tied up after 2, but then in the third, that little bit of a room, that 4-point lead, and then they only outscored them by 2 points in the fourth. So a very tight game, down to the wire. The Clippers narrowly avoid the elimination. They force Game 7, but the final score in Game 6, Los Angeles 102, San Antonio 96.